For 40 years, an intrepid band of bird banders have gotten up at 5 o'clock every morning at the Crown Point Historic Site in Crown Point, New York, to band migrating songbirds. Now you might ask yourself, why Crown Point? Why the historic site? Well, Crown Point is a peninsula that juts northward into a very, very cold, in May, very cold Lake Champlain. And the birds migrating north that come up the peninsula come to the water and they don't want to cross it, so they turn around and go back. So we get a chance to catch them coming and going. The other reason they come here is in 1700s, the French came to build a fort there, and they also brought along with them the European hawthorn. They brought it as an ancient form of barbed wire. But we go there because the birds love the little green worms that come out of the leaf buds. We run our nets east and west across the line of the migration. These nets are generally 10 meters long and up to 6 feet high. And they have pockets in them. There's a lot of loose, lightweight fabric there. And when the birds hit the net, they fall into a pocket. And we take them out of the pocket, either the banders or volunteers called pickers, running the nets so that the birds don't sit in the pocket very long. We then take the bird and, assuming we've identified it, we have to put a band on, which is, you can see them here. These lightweight aluminum bands with a number on them that's specific only for that bird. Age them, sex them, find out whether they're male or female, and then release them. This is only done by licensed bird banders. You have to be licensed by both the federal government and the state in which you're banding birds. This is a brown thrasher. This was started in 1976, and we've been running, this is our 41st year. We're right in the middle of it right now. And up through 2015, we have banded almost 19,000 birds and released them. Here's one of our banders applying a band to a common yellowthroat warbler, a very small bird, gets a very small band. The bands are on the leg loosely. They have to be so that the bird can still clean their legs. And they're very lightweight. The birds don't seem to know that they're even there. This Baltimore Oriole is one of our oldsters. It's a local one. It nests there on Crown Point. And as of last year, it was 9 years, 11 months old. That's pretty good for a bird that goes to Central America every year. We also get visitations from student groups, classrooms from all over, mostly New York State. Vermonters don't like to leave the state. And they come and they get to hold a bird. For most, it's the only time in their lives they will hold a bird. And they get to release that bird back into the wild. We also maintain all of the bluebird and tree swallow nests, nest boxes at the Crown Point Historical Center site. And we can band the young bluebirds because long before they can fly, their legs are adult size, so we can put a band on them. This is a black-throated green warbler, for those of you who are not familiar. One of those 18,000. The 18,000 birds that we've banded include 106 different species of birds. Sometimes a hawk decides to come down for lunch, and we usually catch both the lunch and the hawk. It doesn't happen very often. This is a sharp-shinned hawk, and it feeds on small birds. And it's the only raptor that we ever get to band there because we don't trap larger ones. This is a school group. I think this one's from Keene Valley, New York. And some of these school groups come back year after year. And in 1990, we began a program of allowing the students to release birds and keeping a record of them. In the olden days, we would simply take a Polaroid picture of them. Here we are identifying the age of a bird. And in 1995, we began to keep track of their name and address of the student. So if we recaptured the bird, they would get a postcard. It became their bird. And since 1995, we've had over 100 recaptures of student birds. This is an indigo bunting, lives out in the countryside. Banding actually began, the first metal bands put on birds was in 1595. It's been going on a long time. In 1908, it became formalized here in the United States. This is a student releasing a great crested flycatcher, or about to release him. And these students take this very, very seriously, as you can see the look on their face. It's really a magic thing to hold a bird. They are so lightweight. This is a student about to release a mourning dove. You probably have them in your backyard if you feed the birds. And we have some people that have been coming for many, many years. Husband and wife became pickers for us, and they still are. Their daughter became known as Bird Girl, and this is their granddaughter being introduced to a catbird. We try to train them really young. Yeah. And thank you.